Good evening. We have been talking for the last few weeks about 5 choices that we can make to chart a better future. And these are choices that impact a number of different areas in our lives. They can impact our personal life, our marriage, our family, our friendships. They can impact your finances, your career, your business. These are truths that impact so many different areas of our lives. And tonight we're going to look at 2 Timothy chapter 1 verses 6 through 8. It says, "For this reason I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God which is in you through the laying on of my hands. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. So do not be ashamed of the testimony about our Lord or of me, his prisoner. Rather, join with me in suffering for the gospel by the power of God." Paul is writing from prison to encourage Timothy. And Timothy is this young man that Paul has left to pastor this important church in the city of Ephesus. And Paul urges Timothy, fan to flame the gift that God has given to you. He's saying, Timothy, you have a role to play. God has equipped you for this. Take those gifts, take those talents, take those resources, all that God has put within you, and stir that up for what God has for you to do. And then he goes on and he says, and remember, God's Spirit that is in you, it is not a timid and fearful spirit. It is a spirit of power and of love and self-discipline. So don't shrink back. Don't be ashamed of the message of Jesus. Don't be ashamed of me because I'm in prison. Proclaim the gospel boldly and faithfully, even if that means you have to suffer for doing it. The choice that Paul is urging Timothy to make here is the choice to choose sacrificial service over apathetic indifference. To choose sacrificial service over apathetic indifference. If we want our life to matter, to have significance, this is a choice that we must make. We must choose to serve others rather than to be indifferent towards them. The comedian Stephen Colbert a few years ago was invited to give the commencement address at his alma mater, Northwestern University. And here's some of the words that he offered to the graduates. He said, "After I graduated from Northwestern, I moved to Chicago and did improv. Now, there are very few rules about improvisation, but one of the things I was taught early on is that you are not the most important person in the scene. Everyone else is. And if they are the most important people in the scene, you will naturally pay attention to them and serve them. But the good news is you're in the scene too. So hopefully to them, you're the most important person, and they will serve you. No one is leading. You're all following the follower, serving the servant. You cannot win improv. And life is an improvisation. You have no idea what's going to happen next, and you are mostly just making things up as you go along. And like improv, you cannot win your life. I have my own show, which is full of very talented people ready to serve me. But at my best, I am serving them just as hard, and together we serve a common idea. And a sure sign that things are going well is when no one can really remember whose idea was whose, or who should get credit for what jokes. When we choose to serve, we need to sacrifice. And this is a choice that helps us to move away from indifference and apathy in our lives, to not make things about ourselves, to realize we aren't the most important person in the scene, but that we can serve others, and through that, God can make a powerful difference in our lives. And so tonight, I encourage you to just think about who could you serve this week, and to take action and make that happen.